Hi everybody, this is Tor Stoli and I am back with another video. I thought in this video I like to take a look at GitHub Co-Pilot. Now I know there's a lot of videos out there that are covering this and probably do, good job. So I've seen a couple of them myself, but I thought I'll look at it from a different angle that you don't always see. Most of the videos you see is Co-Pilot inside VS Code. I thought I'll take a look at how to run GitHub code in R instead. So I decided to take a look at that and see how that will work. So let's get started. So what I did was I went in and installed the latest version of RStudio, as you can see here. It's on this posit.co, download RStudio-desktop. So that's where you want to go and download the latest version. I'm on Windows, so I'm downloading this version here. And as you can see, this was released, October 10/17, almost a month ago. So after I download that version of it, I'll open it up in RStudio. And let me bring RStudio over to the other screen here. So this is what my RStudio looks like now. I've made it clean so you can easily read it. Now, if you look here, in order to activate, and I thought I'll do this with you, but I haven't done this yet. So I want to do this so you can see the experience for yourself. So you go into this Tools menu, you go to Global Option, and when you look down now, you can see that in addition to the usual suspects on this left-hand side here, you can see there's a Co-Pilot tab now, or menu item, I should say. So when I select that one, it's in preview, as you can see. So I'm going to enable GitHub Co-Pilot. And it says you are not currently signed in. So I'm going to say, okay, let me go and sign in and see what that looks like. And it pops up this dialog box and it gives you a verification code. So this is the website I want you to go to. So I'm going to copy this verification code. So let me Control-C that. And let me open that web page. You can see here is an input for that activation code. So I paste it in like this, and this is my code, and I'm going to continue. I'm going to verify my identity, and I'm going to authorize this GitHub. Wow, look at this. You're all set. That was pretty easy. So let's go back now to RStudio and see what that looks like. So minimize this, and I'm going to say apply if that's needed, and I say okay. All right, so now we're inside RStudio and we are ready to go. So I guess the first task will be just to create a single R script and basically see what it does. You can go to docs.posit.co and I'll put these links into the description of this video. But this will take you to the documentation for how to use Co-Pilot inside R. And it's specific to R, I think, here. If you look in general how to use Co-Pilot, you can go to this page, which is github.blog. And I'll put a link to this one in the description. Here, in general, it tells you how to use GitHub Co-Pilot with the prompts, tips, and use cases. So that's another useful place to go to learn about this. The third one is just to get started with R. You can see it here. There's a video, RStudio plus GitHub Co-Pilot. Integrate Co-Pilot and RStudio to auto-complete R code. This is a very brief video, but it kind of gets you started. So you can see it's only 1 minute and 58. But it will get you started. So you can see some of the things that she displays here in this video. So that's a third option you can use. Okay, so let's go back to the code. And here I started, and if you read in the documentation here how to use GitHub Co-Pilot in the RStudio user guide, if you kind of scroll on the right-hand side here, you can see that you can prerequisite setup using Co-Pilot. And when you click on using Co-Pilot, it uses a Quarto-style book here, and I'm planning on doing a video on how to create these kind of visuals as far as whether it's a book or blog or what have you in a future video. But if you go to using Copilot, you can see autocomplete, code, questions. So I'll click on these questions. And if you look, if you want to ask a question directly in your code, you start with a comment sign like this one, and space, and a Q, and colon, and then space. So here you can see questions that is being asked. So make sure you go through this documentation and figure out how you're going to work with this in R. So if I go back now, you can see here I'm just giving an instruction. This is not a question or anything. It's just an instruction. So I put it in a comment. And what I can do now is I can simply hit Control Enter. And when I do, you can see it suggests I'm loading the dplyr library like this. And I accept it by hitting Tab. And then I hit Enter again. And now it suggests how to load the ggplot library, which again, I want. What if I want to ask a question? So it says data package ggplot, Control Enter. And notice this, it gives you a list over the different types of data you can use. Now, one that is often used is miles per gallon. So let me just do that one because it's simple. And let's just keep it simple for now. So I'm going to say, please load into a data frame. Okay, let's see what it does. And it's called MG, that's fine. Hit Enter. And here it goes. It loads it into a, sorry, I keep forgetting, Control Enter. And there it is. So let's see what it looks like. Control Enter, and there it is. So it loaded the data into a data frame. Another thing you can do is you can have a question answers ongoing. Okay, it tells me that the MPG data set contains fuel economy data for 1999 for 38 popular models of a car. Okay, when I hit Enter, it might suggest new questions, does it? Not really. What happens if I do Tab and Enter? Now it suggested a URL link to, I don't know, to find out more about this particular data set. So that's interesting. You can go there and look for it. Okay, so now it pops up suggested questions for me. Okay, I hit Enter, and it tells me, okay, there's 234 rows and 11 columns. I keep hitting Tab to accept it and hit Enter. And then it starts going wild here, and it wants to give you the dimensions. So let's see what the dimensions are. 234 by 11, that's fine. So I'm going to hit Enter. And it tells me that the first plot shows the relationship between the engine displacement and the highway miles per gallon. Okay. And the second plot is going to give me the relationship between the engine displacement and the city miles per gallon. So let's see if it will do that. Okay, here's the first one. And here's the second one. And what I always forget is that I have to hit Control Enter. It tells me there's an error. Could not find the function ggplot. Did I load the library? Maybe I didn't load the library. Okay, let's try it again. All right, so let me run it again. And there it is. And then I do the second one. And let's bring that over so you can see it. So here's the second plot. And I guess this is the first one. Here's the second one. So yeah, not the best plots, but you can expand on this. You can keep talking with Copilot and tell them, hey, put some colors on it, whatever, you know. Okay, I want to show you some additional things you can do here. There is a package in R called Chattr or Chattr that will allow you to talk to large language models such as OpenAI, etc. What I tried to do was to set that up so I could show you, and let's do that, but I'm not able to run it myself because my OpenAI test period, if you will, has expired and I have not paid for getting in and using it. So I might think about doing that in the future, but right now I haven't paid, so I can't really get answers back. But let me show you how you can set all this up. So in case you have OpenAI, you can use this and you can run it right from RStudio. So let me demonstrate how that works for you. So here I am in GitHub Co-Pilot user guide in RStudio, as you can see. So what I'm interested in to communicate with these large language models, RStudio has set up a panel for that in the viewer panel. So what we can do is on this page, I'm going to do a Control F and search for viewer, as you can see here. So when I click down here, you see the viewer is found right here. There was one instant. So if you look at this, it says, let me zoom in a little bit. It says, Copilot is most effective when used to generate code, so it's best to use purpose-built generative AI interfaces for chat, such as Chattr R package, which is an R interface to local or remote LLMs, large language models. Chattr includes a RStudio add-in as well as a built-in app for interacting with large language models via RStudio's viewer pane. So what we can do is we can go into this package here, and if you look at it here, in order to get a hold of this package, this Chattr package, you can go to this website here. It's on a GitHub, MLverse on GitHub.io, and it tells you about the Chattr package. So if you look at it here, there is some instruction how to do this. There is an install here, you can see. So remotes, install GitHub, and then MLverse/Chattr. That's how you install it. And then it tells you how you can use it with these different models. And one of them you can see is OpenAI. So you can go against those GPT models and everything on the OpenAI website. You can also use it locally. So if you install Llama GPT, I believe Llama is a Meta, meaning the old Facebook guys, their models, and you can download, I guess, this model and put it on your own machine and talk to it. That's another way you can do it. So it has two options here. Now, if you use this OpenAI, which is I'm going to demonstrate this, I'll show you how to set this up. And here it tells you how you can use the app, and it kind of gives you some more information. So you can go through this and get some more detail about this. And it tells you, a lot about how you can use shortcuts and how the prompts and everything are, like you can see here. So before I do, I just want to show you, if you're going to talk to OpenAI, as you can see here on this page, on the MLverse GitHub.io, you can, I think it's a link here you click to get to this page on this other page here. What they say is that you need a key, and you can use this command to set your environment, because the Chattr will look for this key to OpenAI in the environment variables. So by running this sysset-env OpenAI API key, and then the key you get from OpenAI, you should be able to set that. And we're going to show you how to do that in our code in a second. So anyways, you can see it here, and it's a lot of information here, and it's quite good. So make sure you take a look at that. Here is a key that I generated, but it's not going to do you any good. I don't care if you see it or not, because it doesn't work. So it's not going to do you any good. You have to get your own key. But as you can see here, I had some keys in the past, but no more. So it's a no-go for me. Anyways, I'm going to show you how you can test this and look at this and see if it's any good. So let's get to the R code. So here am I in R, and I basically want to start using this stuff. So the first thing I want to do is I want to do some investment analysis. So I'm going to need some packages. So the one I'm going to need is for Copilot to load some packages for me. So I'm going to say load performance analytics, QuantMod, and TTR and tidyverse packages. So when I hit enter now, it's going to start suggesting. Here's the library for performance analytics. Now it assumes that you already installed these. So you make sure you install these first. So I'm just going to hit tab and hit enter again. And here's the next one, tab, enter, tab, enter, tab, enter. So that doesn't do any good as far as loading them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these, and then I'm going to hit you can either use the run button up here, or you can hit Control Enter on my Windows machine at least. Control Enter. And you can see down here, it loaded those packages right here. So now those are active. So the next step I wanted to do is, I want to get a hold of that Chattr package. Here's another thing it wants to start doing right away. So if you look at this, load data. So I'm going to hit Enter. And notice what it does. It gives you get symbols, and it kind of from the QuantMod package. So that's quite interesting. But before I can do anything here, I need to install that remotes package. Okay, helpful here. So when I hit Enter here, let's see what happens. That looks pretty good, actually. It tests and see if it already exists, and if not, install it. So let me go tab through that, and let's run this code now. Control Enter. And as you can see now, it installs it. So, okay, so now you can see how you actually install this package. So in order to check it, let's just write, here is remote. So you can see it down here is installed. Okay, so the next thing we want to do then is, we want to run that remotes package. So we need to load it. Okay, so now I run Control Enter, and now it's loaded. The next step we want to do is, now we want to use this remotes package, and we want to actually install Chattr. So I'm going to say install Chattr from GitHub. I don't think this will work, so I'm just going to hit Enter. And yeah, so that's not really what I needed. But I do have a command there, so I'm going to grab that one. That's the one we found on the web page we looked at. So refer back to that one. Okay, here is this one. Remotes install from GitHub MLverse Chattr. So Control Enter, and it's installing it down on the bottom here. But because I already have it, it says it's skipping it. So if it's not there, it will install it for you by using this command. So I already have it. The next thing you want to do is you want to set the system environment OpenAI key. So you have to go to OpenAI and generate a key out there and get it. I showed you that earlier on a web page I was on. So here you hit this one, and it doesn't really know what to do. And you can see here is the information. If you look at this Co-Pilot : no completion available, this one here will tell you whether it's working on something or not. So make sure you check this as you run this script. So it doesn't find that, but I have already this command. So let me just set this. So as you can see, sys set environment, OpenAI API key, and then the key. So you hit Control Enter on that one. Now I already have it in environment variable. So I can check it. So I can say sys, and then I can simply get environment variable. And the one I want to get is this OpenAI key, right? So let me select that piece and put it in here. All right, so let's hit Enter. And it turns out there's nothing there. Okay, so maybe it removed it. So let me set it and then see what happens. So Control Enter. And okay, and then let's try the get key again. Let's try this one again. And there it is. So you can see, you can get the key and to check and see if it exists already. All right, so now we got an OpenAI key. So the next step would be to load the Chattr package. So let's prompt for that. Oh, look at this, it already had it here. So tab, enter, tab, Control Enter. So now I loaded the Chattr package, and then we want to make sure we test the connection, okay? So I think that because it's smart enough to read all of the text here, that it will actually test it for us based on this. So you can see to OpenAI, no, I want to test the Chattr. So here you can see Chattr test connection. Okay, let me try that one. Hit Control Enter. Okay, so that command is no good. The one I want to use is simply Chattr test. So I don't know where this one is coming from. So you got to be careful with these commands. It's not always correct what it's given you. So let me try this Control Enter. And as you can see here, it tells me that I have insufficient quota. You have exceeded your current quota. Please check your plan and billing And this is from error from OpenAI. So you can test your connection to OpenAI by running it this way. So that's one way you can do it to make sure that it's going to work. For me, it's not going to work because I don't have access anymore. Now, to activate Chattr in the panel, on the viewer panel over here, on this panel here, what you want to do is you want to run this command. So let's see. Okay, this is it's hallucination because I just think it's literal. So that's not true. What you want to do, you want to run this command here. So let me paste that in. And that's the Chattr underscore app. So Chattr underscore app in a Chattr package. So when you see the 2 colons, that means there's no, if this function exists somewhere else in other packages and you loaded a bunch of them, then there will be confusion because R doesn't know which one to pick. So in order to prevent that, you can put this package name followed by 2 colons in order to specifically mention that you want to use the function inside this package. So that's why you see it like this. So I'm going to hit Control Enter on this. And as you can see over on the viewer panel now, notice it created like an input box and it has a submit button and it has some settings that you can set up here. I haven't really played with this because this is the first time. I just learned about this a couple of minutes ago. So now I'm in the viewer panel, right? So what if I want to ask a question, for example, what if I want to, in my get symbols that I didn't load, but let's put it in now. So let's say I'm interested in this command here to load the data from, I guess Yahoo is this. What if I want to try to load it this way? When I try that, I'm getting an error. So when I hit enter now, you can see it's going to give me an error because it's not going to understand it. What I'm interested in finding out, for example, in the quant mode package, so let's run this again here so it's activated. Okay, so what you're going to see is it's going to try to answer this, but because I don't have access to OpenAI, I'm not going to get any answer back. So let me just submit it so you can see it. So here you can see the question, and then it's going to come back with an error. And you can see the error here is, of course, because I don't have access anymore. So it gives me some weird error here. So when you don't quite know what to do, you can't use a list like this. So what R suspect is a vector. So here you create a vector by using the C for like concatenate or whatever it stands for. And I'm putting some symbols in here that you can see are above here. Now what's great about Co-Pilot is that it can read text from earlier in your code. So when I create a variable and use this get symbols, I can load this vector into this position and get symbols, which is basically the tickers you want to use. Also, I'm specifying here I want to use Yahoo Finance, and ideally I probably will add these as well. So let me see if it will actually do that. If I put a comma here, notice it's smart enough to read from above and it suggests this for you. So that's exactly what I wanted. And even here you can see when I put a comma here, notice it reads the Palantir ticker symbol as well. So that's really useful stuff. So I just want to point that out for you so you can see how it can autocomplete then by reading prior text in your code. Anyways, I just wanted to show you how you can set up in the viewer, you can set up the Chattr package. So now you can actually play around with this. And again, you could see that you can ask questions with a pound, space, Q, colon, and then a question inside here. But you can also get like sidebar help in the viewer panel, much like you do with Co-Pilot in VS Code on the left-hand panel if you have it on the left-hand side or right-hand side, depending how you set it up. But you can ask questions and have ongoing information kind of thing going against those large language models. So I hope this was useful for you. I'm not going to drag it out any longer. You can go ahead and start playing with this yourself and make sure you read that documentation. We'll tell you all about it. Happy coding, everybody, and I look forward to see you again soon.